So this is a nice flowing practice, but not suitable for pregnancy. So you're going to lift the arms all the way up and deeply bend back, heart to the ceiling to breathe in. Exhale, hands to the floor and step all the way back into a down dog. So you can bend the knees, just move around, whatever feels good here, pressing the hands down into your floor, lifting the sitting bones up nice and high and getting a nice stretch through the back. Taking your time to roll forward to plank position, shoulders on top of the wrists. One nice long line, dipping down, shoulders back. Getting a nice little stretch through the front and back of the body here. And then curling the toes under to come back into a down dog. So moving around here, bending the knees to get an extra stretch through the back. We're going to lift up that left leg into the air, bring the heel to the bum and open the hip to the ceiling. And then return the leg and go the opposite leg up, leaning all the way open through the hips. Return the foot to the floor and then bring it all the way up in between the hands. 2 feet step towards the top, up towards your hands, and you can rest the head, let it hang over, hold opposite elbows, pull the elbows towards the floor. And just moving around and enjoying the stretch here. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring the arms again up. Big, deep breath in, leaning all the way back, heart up to the ceiling. And then arms all the way down to the floor. Plant the hands down into your mat, step the legs back one at a time, downward facing dog. Get a nice length through the whole spine here. Heels to the floor, or if it's not comfy, you can of course bend the knees and roll all the way forward through to your plank position. Don't drop the hips, one long line pushing through the heels, and then rolling back to down dog. Taking a few big deep breaths in right into the back of the rib cage, and then rolling forward to plank position. Taking your time. At any point you need to drop to the knees, please do. And then coming back into downward dog. Filling the lungs with every move. And we're going to lift up that left leg in the air, bend the knee and eventually bring it in between the hands. So the back heel is off the floor. And then you're just going to bring the 2 hands into the center, and then we're going to stretch that left leg and then bend it again. So we're alternating here. So we're stretching the leg to straight, or as straight as you can go, and then bending it down into a nice low lunge. So we're moving around here, getting nice length through the back of the leg. And then bring the left hand into the center of the foot, pressing the elbow against the knee. And then taking your time here, you can pivot the back heel down and lift the right arm up in the air directly above the shoulder. Back heel of that right foot is on the floor. And then bring it down to the floor, and we're going to wrap the arms here. So if this is too advanced for you, just keep in the previous pose. Otherwise you're wrapping that left arm underneath the bottom leg and right arm reaches it. Come back into plank for a moment. And then back into down dog, and we lift up the right leg and then bring it up in between the hands, taking your time, loosening out through the hips here. You can rock forwards and backwards and then eventually come to straighten the right leg, trying to make sure that your back is as straight as possible and you're bending through the back too much. So you're bending down, exhaling, bending the knee into a low lunge, and then inhaling, straightening the leg. Then pivot the back heel down on that left foot, right hand onto the inside of the right foot, and lift up that left arm, staying here. This is deep enough. Or if you're a little bit more experienced, you can drop that right arm underneath, make the bind and bring the heart up to the ceiling. If your hands don't reach, just reach that left arm back as much as you can. 2 hands back down to the floor, pivot the back leg back up into downward facing dog, bending the knees, getting a lovely stretch through the legs and through the back, coming forward to plank. And then we're going to go on to the side plank. You can stack one leg on top of the other here, or bring that top left leg on top of each other, and then into lifting up into wild thing. So again, if you haven't done this before, don't try it for the first time. So we can just stay in side plank, lifting the hips up to the ceiling, otherwise reversing into your wild thing pose, lifting the heart to the ceiling. And then back into a little bend to down dog, and then rolling yourself up to stand. So we're taking the hands behind the back, inhaling, lifting the arms up overhead and tilting forward. Knees can be soft here, or the legs can be nice and straight. And we're lifting up, lift the heart to the ceiling, big breath in, and then exhale, lifting the hands up overhead, reaching all the way forward. Inhaling all the way back up, and then we're going to go into a nice wide stance here, so as wide as you can comfortably go. Toes are pointing forward, hands on the hips, big deep breath in, lift the heart up and then reach forward. So you're sliding the hands down. They might reach your shins. If they reach the big toes, you can do your yogi toe lock, head towards the floor. You mightn't get your head anywhere near the floor, and that's fine. You're tilting from the hips, the legs are super straight here. And you keep leaning just as far as is comfortable for you. Your hands might be on your shins here or on your knees. Back up to take a nice breath in here and head down towards the floor again. So I'm bringing my hands down this time and taking that left arm up with the right hand into the center. 2 hips are facing downwards, so don't twist into the lower back, and then turn and lift the right hand up. It's a really nice twist in the body. So you can rest the head down onto the floor or towards the floor, hands in between your feet or just onto the floor, whatever feels good for you. Really strong through the legs here. You're really engaging your core muscles to try and reach forward. A couple of big breaths in to really lengthen that spine. And then coming up. And we're coming into a warrior 2. So your right toes are turning parallel and you're bending down. Your back toes turning in a little. The back leg is really strong. Relax the shoulders. And then reverse warrior, left arm down, right hand looks up, and then back to warrior 2, and we're going to go down to the side angle. So bring that left hand down to the inside of the left foot and reaching that right arm the whole way across. You have a beautiful big stretch the whole way through the side body. Coming all the way back up, pivot the legs the other way. So now your left toes are pointing parallel down to warrior 2. Relaxing the shoulders even though your arms are out at a T, and that front leg is parallel to the floor. Reverse warrior, lifting the left arm up, coming back to warrior 2, and then we're coming down to side angle, hand to the inside of the foot and leaning that top arm the whole way over. Heart lifts up to the ceiling, planting the feet into the mat or into the floor, and coming all the way up. Heel toe in a little, hands to the hips, and we're going to go into our triangle Trikonasana pose in a moment. Just take a breath. Turn the right toes parallel, back toes in a little. Legs are strong, really strong and straight here. Arms up to a T, and then reach out as far as you can towards the right from the hips, the waist, and then drop that hand down and lift the top arm directly above the shoulder. So you're leaning back into your imaginary wall here. If it's too much, just bring the right hand up the leg a little bit. And then we're coming into a balancing pose. So take your time and take that right hand at least a foot away from in front of your right foot, and then seeing if you can lift it up. If you're more advanced, you can hold onto that foot and then open up through the hips and return the foot to the floor. So there's a couple of quite advanced poses in this sequence, so just take your time. I fell out of that, so we're going to try it again. So as soon as my mind was wandering, I lost my balance. So really focus on your breath. So returning the leg to the floor, and we're just going to go the other way. So bringing yourself out to a T here. Legs are really strong and straight, reaching out, and then down to your Trikonasana triangle pose. Relax the top shoulder, so you're leaning open and back. So as you come forward, you're going to take that hand about a foot or so away. Really focus on your core strength and the standing leg strength. And then if you want to move it on, you're taking hold of the top of the foot and slowly straightening the bottom leg, and then nice and slowly moving into that opening through the hip. Your breath and your core are really important here. Coming up out of it, and then bring the legs back onto plank pose, holding here. You can drop to your knees, come to child's pose at any time, and then come all the way down to the floor. Hands are underneath, just behind your shoulders. You're lifting up. Chest come open, relax the shoulders. . So you can just move around here, stretching into the low back, coming back for a nice little stretch into down dog. And coming all the way down to the floor. I'm going to do a back bend here. So this is only suitable if you have practiced bow or wheel pose or whatever you want to call it. So you're bringing your hands underneath your head and coming up onto the top of your head first of all. I have a little visitor here. And then pressing the chest and heart up to the ceiling. So you wouldn't do this if you've never done it before, so take guidance. You could just do a bridge pose, lifting the hips off the floor to get yourself used to this. And then go into happy baby. So you're taking the inside or the outside of the feet, soles of the feet looking to the ceiling, and you're bringing the knees towards the armpit area, just releasing into the low back. You can come up to sit and then just cross over the legs, and just slowly you can bring yourself forward to stretch out the back nice and gently, resting your head down to a comfortable position. Taking a few nice big deep breaths here into the back of your body. And then whenever you're ready, you're going to come up to sit. So I'm going to go into a headstand here. So this is not suitable unless you have headstand practice. It's something I can break down in another tutorial. But making sure that your elbows are facing inwards and taking your time to come up. You really engage your core. I was super distracted by the dogs running around here, so it took me 2 attempts to come up. So really strong through the core and lifting the feet towards the ceiling, towards the sky, and really strong through the shoulders. You're taking the weight off your head and neck here by having a really strong across the shoulders. And whenever you're ready to come down nice and slowly and resting down to child's pose. Take a few nice deep breaths. And rest at the end of your practice. And I hope you really enjoy this short but pretty strong opening and strengthening sequence.